In this section, we'll implement Entra Cloud Sync as a lighter way to connect on-premises Active Directory with Microsoft Entra ID. We'll configure agents, define scope, enable password hash sync, and then validate and monitor the results. You've already built the foundation: how AD works, how Entra ID changes authentication, and how migration models affect design choices. You've also prepared a sandbox and implemented traditional Entra Connect Sync. Now we'll add Cloud Sync, so you can compare both approaches and choose the right fit for real migrations. Entra Cloud Sync provides a lighter weight path for hybrid identity. Instead of maintaining a full local sync engine, you install the Microsoft Entra provisioning agent on a domain joined server. The agent reads selected objects from on-premises Active Directory, such as users, groups, and contacts, and provisions them into Microsoft Entra ID. Configuration and monitoring happen primarily in the Entra Admin Center, so administration shifts toward the cloud. Cloud Sync can also synchronize password hashes, giving users a consistent sign-in experience across on-premises and cloud services. Think of Cloud Sync as the simpler, cloud-managed option for common directory synchronization needs. It uses lightweight agents, deploys quickly, and works well for multiple AD forests, branch environments, or staged migration plans. Entra Connect Sync is still the better fit when requirements are more advanced, such as device writeback, Exchange hybrid writeback, custom attribute flows, complex transformations, or detailed synchronization rules. The decision is not newer versus older. It is whether your identity scope and rollback needs call for simplicity or deeper control. Before installing the provisioning agent, treat readiness as a gate, not a formality. Confirm that you can administer the tenant in Microsoft Entra with the right hybrid identity or global permissions. Choose a supported Windows server joined to the target Active Directory domain. Verify outbound HTTPS access to the required Microsoft Cloud endpoints because the agent initiates communication outward. Finally, clean up the identity source. Check AD health, UPN suffixes, rootable domains, duplicates, and stale objects. Most provisioning issues are easier to prevent here than to troubleshoot after sync starts. The provisioning agent is the bridge between on-premises Active Directory and Microsoft Entra ID. Download it from the Entra Admin Center, then install it on a domain-joined Windows server that can reach your domain controllers. During setup, sign in with the right tenant credentials so the agent can register securely. After registration, confirm that the agent appears as active before you create sync configurations. In production, deploy more than one agent for resiliency, so provisioning can continue during patching, restarts, or server outages. Once the agent is installed, it needs to be connected to both your tenant and your local directory. Registration uses an administrator sign-in to establish trust between the agent and Microsoft Entra ID. You then connect the agent to the correct Active Directory domain using credentials with permission to read the users, groups, or other objects in scope. The security model is important. The agent makes outbound connections to Microsoft Cloud services, so you avoid opening inbound firewall paths. After registration, the agent appears in the Entra Admin Center and can be selected for Cloud Sync configuration. Before creating production provisioning jobs, confirm that the agent is truly ready. In the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, verify that it shows active, has a current version, and has a recent heartbeat. Check connectivity status and validate that the local Windows services supporting the provisioning agent are running. Take warnings seriously, especially missed check-ins or version drift. If the environment needs high availability, scale, or maintenance flexibility, use multiple agents. A healthy agent means the synchronization path is available, current, and resilient. A Cloud Sync configuration is where you decide exactly what Active Directory data enters Microsoft Entra ID. In the Entra Admin Center, choose the connected AD domain, then define the provisioning scope. That scope is the key decision. You can sync all users or narrow the job to selected organizational units or groups. From there, confirm attribute mappings, decide whether password hash sync is enabled, review the settings, and turn on the job. If you create multiple configurations, make sure their scopes do not overlap, or the same object may be processed twice. Scope selection determines which Active Directory objects are allowed to become cloud identities. Start narrow. O-based scoping works well when a business unit such as HR or IT is ready as a group. Group-based scoping is better for pilots because you can choose specific users across different OUS. Just as important, exclude accounts that should not synchronize. Stale users, disabled accounts, duplicates, and service accounts unless they are explicitly required. Tie the scope to your migration waves and rollback plan, so every sync change is intentional and reversible. Attribute mapping is the translation layer between Active Directory and Microsoft Entra ID. Values like UPN, mail, display name, proxy addresses, and object identifiers determine how a person is represented in the cloud. Identity matching then decides whether an existing cloud account should be linked to an on-premises account instead of creating a duplicate. This is why data quality matters. A mismatched UPN, duplicate email address, invalid proxy address, or missing required name value can stop provisioning or break access. Keep mapping standard unless a clear business requirement justifies customization. Password hash sync gives users a familiar sign-in experience in Microsoft Entra ID while keeping the actual password protected. Cloud Sync reads supported password data from on-premises Active Directory, transforms it into a secure hash, and synchronizes that hash, not the plaintext password, to Entra ID. From there, users can access cloud apps with modern authentication, conditional access, and the same identity controls you already use. Roll it out in a controlled way. Start with pilot users, confirm that password changes and sign-ins behave correctly, and then expand scope with confidence. Cloud Sync runs through provisioning jobs. Each job defines what gets synchronized, which objects are in scope, how attributes are mapped, and how often processing occurs. The first run is usually the most important. It may create new cloud objects, match existing ones, and populate attributes for the first time. Later cycles focus on deltas, updates, additions, and removals. Because early cycles often reveal scoping mistakes, mapping issues, or permission problems, monitor the logs closely before expanding synchronization to a wider population. Troubleshooting Cloud Sync works best when you follow the signal. Start with provisioning logs to see whether an object succeeded, failed, or was skipped, and read the exact error. If jobs stop or results look stale, check agent health next: heartbeat, connectivity, and service status. Most failures map to a few root causes, such as duplicate attributes, invalid UPN formats, permissions, or users falling outside scope. Fix the source, not just the symptom. Correct AD attributes, adjust scope rules, validate credentials, and restart or redeploy agents only when the agent is truly the problem. Entra Cloud Sync gives you a lighter, cloud-managed path from on-premises, Active Directory to Microsoft Entra ID. The success pattern is consistent. Confirm readiness, deploy the agent, scope carefully, clean attributes, validate password hash sync, and monitor provisioning logs and agent health. Next, you'll apply this foundation to migration patterns, testing, troubleshooting, and rollback planning.